Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast. This is going to be my second video of today, and it's going to be another update on the major and continuing severe weather throughout multiple areas out here as we continue to get closer and closer to the overnight hours. We have incredibly strong severe weather moving towards the Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley. That's where we actually have up to a level 3 enhanced risk, where we have a huge threat for big tornadoes. Damaging winds is an incredibly big threat. We'll be looking at that, possibly seeing more, possibly up to hurricane force winds, not knots, but in miles per hour. And also going to be seeing again very big hail as well. Again, we have the threat as well in the southeast, the mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, and Mississippi Valley. I have multiple areas to focus on. So again, stay tuned, and we're definitely be seeing. We're going to be continuing to look at the new, if we have any new tornado warnings, any new advisories, anything. We're going to continue to look at the new refreshed detailed radar. It's going to continue to look at as well the joules per kilogram and see the Cape values to see if there's any energy in your area that can cause any major bands unexpectedly. And also, we are going to be looking at the winds as well, which can possibly knock out power outage, knock out power, which is not good, especially with the conditions many will be in. I'm actually under a wind advisory, as much as millions of others in the Dakotas and the plains, so definitely something we need to worry about. But without further ado, let's get in this video. So here we are looking at the National Weather Service. It looks a bit different compared to the last one we checked 3 hours ago. But here's the area of focus. It's actually a lot bigger, but we have other areas as of right now where we have severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. Continuing to see these watches and warnings in Virginia, now entering North Carolina, and we're starting to see these severe thunderstorm watches and warnings continuing to become a bit more widespread now out here in the Mississippi Valley and Midwest, continuing to move more and more widespread as well in Missouri and now entering Iowa. And then we also have the area of focus right here into the southeast as well. And these very strong bands that are right here are going to be moving into the southeast tonight, and hopefully I can get some coverage of it. But again, in the light brown color counties, that's where we have wind advisories because of the incredibly strong winds that possibly be more than a Category 1 force wind, which is crazy. And not only that, it's going to be with wet soil, so that's just going to cause a lot of damage. Hopefully we don't have power outages, but I know for sure we will. So let's actually check out the southeast area first. Again, we have Montgomery. We also have areas out here outside of Montgomery. So we have again Montgomery. We actually have a tornado warning. Actually, I did not see that. Let me refresh. Okay, so I guess we have a tornado warning now, and look at this. Now new tornado watches have been issued. So I actually had to refresh, even though I just refreshed it 2 seconds ago. So now we have tornado watches, and I believe they're just north of Jonesboro, and Jonesboro actually has a threat, sadly, of getting another tornado, even though they just had 2 big ones. So we have a tornado warning now in Alabama. It's the far western county here, close to the Mississippi border, possibly 25 miles northwest of Monroeville, and then also not far from Montgomery. So that's where we actually have a tornado warning in effect now. And then again, we actually have areas, Alexander City, Clayton, Montgomery, Troy, and those are all under severe thunderstorm watches here throughout much of south central Alabama, other scattered areas in the far eastern counties. That's where we have severe thunderstorm warnings. But look at these very strong bands again. This is where we have this new tornado warning. Look at this cell on the system. It's definitely got discrete cell formation, and wow, this is very, very bad. Actually, this is a major a band of severe weather that's definitely possibly going to cause a lot of damage, and there's actually a chance that it's possibly already brought hail report. But look at these very strong bands right here moving to the Montgomery metro area. We saw some very strong bands past Tuscaloosa. Now it's moving again towards Monroeville and Troy. This is where we have the area of focus, where we have this new severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued here. But look at this really strong band. I believe you can actually see how close this purple is to that green. That is where we could possibly see an area of possibly seeing a tornado if we will have one. And then again, also near Auburn, we are also seeing another threat right here, as we are seeing now almost the same exact thing that we saw right here that just passed Meridian. So this is again an area of focus near LaGrange in Columbus. Something we also need to worry about. Again, the more severe weather is north of Montgomery, and you can definitely possibly see these clouds from Montgomery and Troy. And all of this is going to be heading towards Troy and Monroeville, so this is definitely areas that we'll have to worry about soon, the next couple of minutes. But yeah, this is wow. And then we have the severe weather statement just past Meridian. We saw up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. So that is now what I was right. We saw hail, reported hail, and that is where we saw that really that pink color right next to the green. You do not want to see the red and pink so close, the pink and green so close to each other. You do not want to see that. Again, now let's refresh once again. So again, we have these tornado watches now in the yellow counties. That's where we have tornado watches. That's going to be, let's actually check out what we have here. We have Paducah now. We have Hopkinsville. We have Mayfield. We have Evansville, Petersburg, Mount Vernon, also Poplar Bluff, Sykes-Town, Cape Girardeau, and then Centerville, Missouri. And then we also have far northern Arkansas. We have Mountain Home, and then not far from Jonesboro. So yeah, that's basically what we're seeing. You can actually see the really light rain out here to central Arkansas there. But again, that's where we have these tornado watches in effect, and then we have this really strong severe weather still out here moving towards Virginia. Roanoke, you guys are definitely going to start seeing the worst, and I would not doubt if we see a tornado warning in Virginia at any moment moving towards Martinsville. We are seeing very strong bands as well near Donville. So look at this. This is something that we saw a couple minutes ago with the Alabama one. Look at this. Look at this. How close this pink is to the green. That could indicate a potential for hail and winds. There's definitely a chance we could have a tornado right here. You can pause. You can just definitely see these. This has discrete cells, has a formation to have a tornado as well. With this actually had a potential to become something. Looks like it's not as well. And then we also have a big threat north of and between these bands right here. We also have another system here. Again, that's now moving towards the border of North Carolina that passed Bartsville, past Roanoke, and also possibly be heading towards again the border with North Carolina. And let's also check what we have right here in central Illinois. We still have Lincoln, Springfield, Taylorville, Charleston, Champaign, Peoria, Illinois, all under still severe thunderstorm watches. And we have Galesburg and Canton under severe thunderstorm warnings. I would not doubt if Peoria is under a severe thunderstorm warning at any moment with these very strong bands moving towards the area. You can just see these incredibly organized. This is very organized of a system. As you can tell, it's all under a linear line. And you can definitely see we are seeing a threat right here for some type of formation right here. There's a chance for something to develop right here as well, moving towards Lincoln and Springfield. But let's actually hope we don't repeat anything that we saw in 2013 in the fall. So that's what we're seeing based on the National Weather Service. Now let's take a look at day one outlook again. Still having a marginal risk for 27 million people, including Charlotte, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, Norfolk, and Chesapeake, Virginia. We also now have a slight chance for now 33 million people. That's in the yellow. That's where we have a level 2 out of 5. So you're closer, and you're going to be seeing a bigger threat for hail, wind, and tornadoes compared to the marginal risk. That's for San Antonio, Austin, Atlanta, Raleigh, and Greensboro, and other cities as well. And then the enhanced risk, this is where we have the biggest threat as of right now for today, and that's a level 3 out of 5. And that's again in the orange. So if you're under an enhanced risk, if you know anybody under enhanced risk, they are, you or them will be in a very high risk for tornadoes, hail, and damaging wind. So definitely something you don't want to mess around with. But you can definitely be seeing major tornadoes to come in tonight, and this is going to be more overnight system. So definitely something you don't want to play around. You got to watch TV and all that. And we still have, again, tornado warnings in these areas as well. And as you can tell, we just have a tornado warning only in a slight chance in Alabama. So can you imagine what we'll be seeing in the enhanced risk today? Tornado risk is still at a 2 to 5% chance. Again, the 5% chance is the highest risk today. And that's going to indicate a pretty good chance for some tornadoes. That's for 16 million people, including big cities like Nashville, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Louisville. Wind threats pretty high as well. I think it should be higher in my opinion, since we're going to be seeing hurricane force winds today and tomorrow. It's at a 30% chance, though, for 19 million people in the red color. That's Indianapolis, Memphis, Nashville, St. Louis, and Cincinnati. Hail threats also at a 30% chance. That's at the highest risk for today for 12.5 million people: Memphis, Nashville, St. Louis, Louisville, and Springfield. Now we're going to be looking at storm reports today. Again, we have again the hail and wind reports out there, not far from Hattiesburg. From that, where we have that tornado warning in Alabama, this is where we have the reported damage there. So we actually only have 25 hail reports today. We have them all around the country, all around the eastern United States, and these multiple. This is going to be just a outbreak of severe weather today. So in the green, that's hail reports. That's where we have that all the way from Roanoke, Charleston. Even have one all the way up not far from Baltimore. Also have one just south of Cincinnati. Have one from where we have the severe thunderstorm warnings not far from Troy. And then near Hattiesburg from that big system that possibly could have brought a tornado. But possibly it has not been reported yet. And then we also have the very strong the worst of the severe weather, in my opinion, is actually going to be developing where we have this, and that's going to be moving through Indiana and all these areas. So that's only there. Again, 0 tornado reports as of now. We have 43 reports. I bet you will have hundreds of more to come as we go throughout today. But I think the most is definitely going to be the wind report. So we're only down at 18 today. We're going to be looking at the strong bands now. We're going to be looking at a very detailed radar now. This is going to be detailed for Missouri, Indiana, Illinois, and Kentucky, and also out there for parts of northern Tennessee and Ohio. We really need to look at very detailed to see what areas are at risk. Again, here we have these bands developing. That's where we have these very strong bands moving towards Peoria and also Lincoln. That's where we have those severe thunderstorm watches. And I would not doubt if we actually get severe thunderstorm warnings in a couple minutes, if not. And then we have these other bands starting to develop throughout Missouri, starting off very small and very weak, but starting to worsen it as we get closer into the next couple of hours. By the next 6 hours here, very late tonight, just look at these bands again, continuing to bring in quite the heavy rain for Milwaukee, Chicago, Gary, and then seeing some other band development out there as it moves into Indiana. Again, this is where we're definitely seeing a threat for a lot of hail and tornadoes as it goes past St. Louis, getting past out here into southern Illinois. Going to continue to move down, but look at these bands as they continue to strengthen near Bern, Indiana. Very heavy rain and potential for flooding. But as we move closer near Evansville, you guys are going to be in a threat for very heavy rain. It's going to continue to move throughout Indiana and Illinois, and it's going to bring in very heavy rain for Cincinnati right here. A potential chance for tornadoes in Cincinnati and right on the border of the Ohio Valley, and continuing to see a really big tornado threat and hail threat and severe weather potential for Paducah, Louisville, and also out there into southern Illinois and also Evansville. And these bands will now move to the south, moving towards Lexington, now moving towards other areas in Kentucky. And let's actually check now if we can actually change to the mid-Atlantic now, so we can actually check very detailed. So again, this is where we see that very heavy rain starting to move down to the south. Very heavy rain again. That's going to be passing through Nashville. Let's actually check out what we missed there. To actually make sure we check the right model. Alright, so we actually have to pick the right model first. So let's wait for this thing to load actually once again. So again, as we get closer in the edge of tonight, this is where we have these very strong bands. Looking a lot better for Nashville compared to what we saw earlier today. But you can just see how long, stretching all the way from the border of Pennsylvania to Arkansas. That's really big, just one big band. You can just see it stretching and connecting. So this is definitely impacting a lot of people. Again, very strong severe weather out there, and potential for quite some damage into northern Mississippi now, and that's going to continue to move into now Georgia, a big threat for possibly hail and wind, and not necessarily tornadoes for Georgia, but there's again still a possibility, as they are in the 2% chance. Now we're going to be looking at the GFS. Again, this is all new, updated compared to the last video. Again, and we have these strong bands developing near Lincoln and Springfield, and continuing to bring that very heavy rain throughout Indiana. But it's definitely going to be really messy within the next couple hours. Indianapolis, you guys are going to start seeing these clouds go from gray to black as well for St. Louis, and also out there into southern Illinois. This is a no-joke system here. It's going to continue to rip through Evansville, Paducah, Cincinnati's really going to get hit as well. Even Dayton, Ohio, Columbus, you guys might get a drizzle or two from the, but you guys are just going to miss it. And now let's actually check the southeast as we watch this move now to Memphis. Possibly going to, let's actually see how bad it's actually going to be really bad for Jonesboro as well. That's where we actually have, again, that band right here in Arkansas starting to develop right here. Again, that's where we're going to start seeing these bands. You see all the way up to Mountain Home. You're going to start seeing this formation. That's going to move southward as it does connect with the system in Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. That's where we have that threat there. And again, that's going to move through Jonesboro, Memphis. Again, looks like a lot better for Nashville compared to the radar, but not looking so good for Mississippi now. Looks like Tupelo in north central Mississippi. You guys are going to have a fun time. Northwestern Alabama, and also looks like a big threat for severe weather now, for including Charleston. That's not looking good, but not looking good either throughout northern Georgia. Looks like areas all the way near Tallulah Falls, and including areas near Cherokee, not looking like they can get a break from this very heavy rain. Now we're looking at the winds. This is something that we need to worry about as well. This is probably the most underrated thing in a system that people don't really pay attention to. And even with the tornado itself, plus these winds, it's going to be 200 plus miles per hour. Really, depending on what you have, that's going to be if it's an EF3 or more. But again, here we have this is where the wind is beginning right here, coming down from the system throughout a jet stream. And this is going to push already 38 to 40 mile per hour winds out here throughout much of Iowa, and then throughout general, possibly seeing 20 to 35 mile per hour winds in general in the Midwest. It's going to continue to get, look, 66, round up to 67 miles per hour, moving towards Peoria, and also including Lincoln. Chicago's going to be earning its name, the Windy City, because they're going to be seeing 30 to 40 mile per hour winds just at the beginning of this. Continuing to see these winds getting a lot worse. You're going to see these numbers change drastically within 300 to 500 miles away in these areas. And it's now going to get to 68 miles per hour. Look, we're going to be seeing near Jonesboro, right on Jonesboro, we can be seeing 50 plus miles per hour. That's an indication we're going to be seeing really the worst of it, going right over Jonesboro, which we do not need another tornado in Jonesboro. Again, these winds are going to continue to get higher, even past the worst of it. Continuing to see now Madison, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee in the 40 plus mile per hour winds. Chicago still seeing around 30 mile per hour winds. St. Louis 36 mile per hour winds. So again, still quite windy, and it's gonna start to decrease a little bit, but become a bit more widespread. Atlanta in my area, northern Georgia 34 mile per hour winds. Little Rock 27 to 35 mile per hour winds. Even Memphis getting close to 40 mile per hour winds, and even all the way to Pittsburgh, we can be seeing 53 plus mile per hour winds. And then by the next couple of days, we're going to continue to see these winds, and it's going to be really, really cold and windy, especially with the cold front. We still have this cold front to come. This wind's going to make it feel like, really, really feel like winter. And now we're going to be looking at the Cape values for today. Again, we have a lot of energy throughout these areas into the Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley. Louisville at 1,600 kilograms, joules per kilogram, 2,500 for Evansville. Poplar Bluffs probably at 3,400. Jonesboro 3,500, and Little Rock at 3,800, a lot higher than last time. And then we also have some 5,000 into southern Arkansas. By 11 o'clock tonight, we're going to be starting to see these bands now, bringing a lot of energy. Now for Memphis, almost 4,000. The numbers getting a bit bigger. For Louisville, close to 3,000. Again, Nashville at only 900 joules per kilogram. So they're, as you can tell, looks like a lot better for Nashville. And Clarksville looks like you guys are under less of a threat. On the other hand, Shreveport, you guys at 3,700. And then we have the really bad severe weather out here into Texas. So again, we have some 5,000. Austin at 5,400. We're getting close to 6,000 guys here. This is going to be some really a lot of energy for Texas as well. 4,800 for Austin, some 5,000s. Continue to see that energy play out, and that's what we'll be seeing for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 2,085 subscribers today. We need 3 more. So, again, if you're new, please support my channel. I do a lot of these videos, especially as we get closer to spring. And bye.